Today's video is to help men who are looking to improve their health. If you're a man over 40 and you notice that something just feels off, that your energy wasn't what it was, that the weight is sticking around no matter what you do, that your blood sugar is creeping up, that you're tired by 3 p.m., I want you to stay with me for the next 10 minutes because I'm going to tell you exactly why this is happening. And I'm going to give you the three reasons for this that not a lot of people are talking about, at least not to men. My name is Jessica Leibovich, and I am a nutritional chef and metabolic strategist with 28 years of experience working with everyone from elite professional athletes to Fortune 500 executives to busy working parents. And I'm going to be straight with you today because that's what you deserve. Here's something I want to say right out of the gate. Most of the health and nutrition content out there, the stuff about metabolism, weight loss, hormones, energy, it's usually written for women by women, or it's written for men by men who are focused on performance, muscle, and athletics. But I've spent 28 years in this field working with every different kind of man you could imagine. As I said, elite professional athletes, high powered CEOs, and high performers who are used to being in control of everything except what's happening in their body. I've worked in healthcare settings, universities, corporate wellness, and I've sat across from some of the most driven, successful men you can imagine. And what I've learned after all of this is that men are some of the most motivated people I have ever and will ever work with. When they decide to fix something, they go all in. But getting to that decision, that's the hard part. Because most of the men I've worked with did not come to me when things were starting to slip. They came to me when things had already gotten serious, when the doctor gave them a warning they couldn't ignore anymore, when surgery forced them to stop and look at their health for the first time in years, or when a diagnosis landed that scared them enough to finally make a move. I call it the dire straits moment. And my message today for you is that you don't have to wait for yours. So here's the three reasons. Reason number one is your body has changed, but your habits have not. What most men don't realize is that starting in your 30s, your testosterone begins to decline. Not dramatically at first, gradually, but by your 40s and 50s, the decline is real, measurable, and it's affecting everything: your muscle mass, your metabolism, and how your body stores fat, as well as how you recover and how you sleep. Research from the Mayo Clinic confirms that free testosterone, the most active form in your body, declines at nearly twice the rate of total testosterone as you age. And with that drop comes muscle loss. And with muscle loss comes a slower metabolism. And with a slower metabolism comes weight gain, especially around the middle. Even when you feel like you're doing the same things you've always done, that's exactly the problem. You're doing the same things you've always done. The eating habits that kept you lean in your early 30s are not designed for your body when you're 45. Your body is sending you completely different signals now, and it needs a completely different strategy. Not necessarily less food, not necessarily more willpower, just a smarter approach that matches where your biology actually is. Most men never get that update. They just keep pushing harder with a plan that stopped working years ago and wonder why nothing is changing. Reason number two, you've been ignoring the signs. This is what happens with so many men. And I'm not saying to shame anyone. I'm saying this because I've seen it play out again and again, over and over in my own work. And research backs it up. A Cleveland Clinic survey of over 1,000 men found that 65% said they avoid going to the doctor for as long as possible. And of the men who do go, 20% admit they're not completely honest with their doctor when they get there. I've seen this firsthand. I worked with a very successful CEO who came to me after knee surgery. He was struggling to get back in shape, but his energy was gone and his diet was working against his recovery. We gradually rebuilt his nutrition strategy around his lifestyle and his healing. And not only is he back on track now physically, his energy came back in a way he had not felt in years. But here's the thing, it took surgery to get him to pay attention. I worked with another man who was fully diabetic. His blood sugar was completely out of control. And when we sat down and really looked at what he was eating, it wasn't that he was eating too much, he was eating the wrong thing. We didn't take food away from him. He actually got to eat more food. But by eating the right food, he transformed his relationship with eating, his cravings dropped, his energy came back, and his numbers started moving in the right direction. But again, he came to me when things were already serious. And I've worked with high performers dealing with major health diagnoses who were handed a new diet by their doctor and they hated every single thing on it. They were trying to white knuckle their way through a plan that was not sustainable. My job was to turn this boat. And that's how I think about it when someone's health has been going in the wrong direction for a long time. You don't spin it around overnight. You gradually turn the boat. New options, new flavors, a strategy that they can actually live with. And that's what works. It works. Here's what makes waiting dangerous. The conditions that hit men the hardest in midlife, prediabetes, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and metabolic dysfunction are usually silent. You don't feel them coming. UCLA Health puts this plainly. Chronic conditions occur in the background of everyday life. By the time you feel them, they've already been building for years. There's a difference between mental toughness and ignoring your body's warning signals. One is strength, and the other is just delayed consequences. The men who come to me and do the work, they've decided that knowing is better than not knowing, and that taking action now costs a lot less than waiting until something forces your hand. Here's reason number 3. You've been prioritizing everything except your health. And again, this is not a criticism, it's just an observation, and it's the reality of how most driven men are wired. You're focused on your career, your success, your family, and your responsibilities, being the person that everyone else counts on. And health feels like something that you will get to later when things slow down, when work settles, when the kids are older. But here's the thing, things don't slow down and your body doesn't wait. Research shows that financial and work-related stress hits men harder than women in terms of long-term health outcomes. The pressure of providing, performing, and leading without recovering, without fueling your body properly, without addressing what's happening internally stacks up. And it shows up as belly fat, blood sugar issues, low energy, poor sleep, and mood changes that men often ignore or just chalk up to getting older. You're not just getting older, you're running on empty and calling it normal. The men who transform their health in midlife are not the ones who had more time. They're the ones who finally decided their health was a priority, not someday, right now. Because they realize that everything else they care about, their work, their family, their future, depends on them being well and healthy enough to show up for it. So what do you do with this? You need a strategy that is built for your body, for your life, and for where you are actually at right now. Not a generic diet and not a program designed for someone else. A personalized nutrition strategy that accounts for your changes, your schedule, your food preferences, and your specific health goals. That's exactly what I do. I work privately with a small number of clients as their personal nutrition strategist. And we assess where you are, where you're identify in your life, what's actually driving your symptoms. And we build the entire food strategy around you. No guessing, no cookie cutter plans, and no perfection is required. My clients are busy professionals, executives, active parents, people who need this to actually work within the life they're already living. So if you watch this video and you recognize yourself in any of these 3 reasons, the metabolism shift, the ignored warning sign, or the health that keeps getting pushed to the back burner, I invite you to book a discovery call with me. It's a conversation where we talk about what's going on with your health, what you've already tried, and whether working together is the right fit for you. The link to book is in the description below, and I only take a few number of clients a month because this is a highly customized service and I give my clients my full time and attention. But your health is not something that you come back to later. Later has a way of never coming back. So if this is something you really want to figure out, book the call and let's get going on a plan that actually works for you. I'll see you there.